We are recording. We are live. Welcome to the Rome Show. I got a special guest here. Dan, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you today, Mr. Rome?
I'm doing good. It's pretty hot out.
Yeah, it's a little warm down here in the bluegrass state of Kentucky as well.
Right. So you're out in the Kentucky world, right?
Yes, I live right next to the Fort Knox Army base, actually. Right next to my service dog, we live right next to the military base, and we have a little bit of fun over here in the rolling hills of Kentucky.
Nice. So you got a very interesting story. Inspirational, motivational, uplifting. I love to interview people who have stories like that. So let's start before the poodle. How you got in the service? What made you get into the service?
Oh, absolutely. So growing up, I had a very, very rough childhood. And throughout that rough childhood of being extremely poor and growing up in a very rough neighborhood in Illinois, I I I always had this image of, what was a real man? What is a real man? And growing up, I didn't have that father figure in my life. So I had a lot of military movies and television shows at the time, and that influenced me of always looking up like, man, those guys are always out there helping people in the world. So throughout my childhood of all that rough stuff going on through foster homes to shelters to group homes, I didn't graduate high school as well. I have a GED. Throughout all of that, my inspiration was always those military members that I've always seen on TV and stuff. So that's what really influenced me. So when I got my GED when I was 18 years old, I went straight on over to the recruiting office and said, "Hey, what can you do for me?" And I first wanted to be in the Navy. I wanted to be a Navy SEAL, but the Navy, they said, "No, Daniel, we don't want you." And I didn't understand why at the time because it was post 9/11. This was in 2007, the peak of Iraq, right? So they said no, unfortunately, since I had a GED, they said no, we're not accepting you right now. So I went to other branches, and I just didn't feel like it was my home. And then I stepped into the army, and the army was like, "Oh yeah, we'll accept you. We accept anybody." So I went over there, and that was January 2nd is when I stepped into the recruiting office and really talked to them. And January 22nd was my first day of boot camp at Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Nice fire story. So I know that was tough. So you got motivated from like watching like movies and like military people. Then you actually went and did it. So you were in it from when you're 18 until now.
So I joined when I was 18. That was 2007, and I was lucky enough to travel all around the world multiple times. And when I say multiple times, my first duty station was at Fort Drum, New York. That's in all the way up New York. That's where I met my wife, and she was also in the army. So it was really cool to be able to have a spouse, and especially my wife. Is completely different, completely opposite from me. I'm white and I'm from the middle of Illinois cornbread farmland, right? And then my wife's a city girl, LA. She's Spanish, and she's that wonderful senorita. And so we met there, and I had to go to Iraq. So I traveled all around Iraq, and that's where I suffered some mental injuries. And then I re-enlisted. I loved the military so much that I said, "Hey, I need to serve my country a little bit more." So I re-enlisted for another term, and during that, I transferred over to Fort Carson, Colorado. When I was there, I was with the military police. Now, I was not a military police officer or um, policeman, or I don't know what they call it. I wasn't an MP, military police. That was not my job. I was actually a chef in the military, and I cooked meals all around the world for all sorts of individuals. Um, but being a cook, we can go anywhere. So when I was with the MPs, they said, "Hey, we need a cook." So I was cooking with them. The next thing you know, they had some special forces soldiers, kind of like going back to that military movies and stuff that I seen growing up. All those really awesome, really strong men. I always wanted to be one of those, and I seen some of those in the office, and I said, "Hey, can I join you?" And they were like, "No, you're a cook." And I go, no, seriously, this is who I am, and this is what I can offer, and this is how I can add value to you and your company and your life and the operation at hand. And so I went with them, and during all of this that I'm talking about, this is like I think this is about like 5 years into the military, right? And I got with these special forces soldiers, and we were doing some training, getting ready to go to Afghanistan. Unfortunately, during this training, there was an accident, and that's where I broke my whole neck. And I broke my neck. My lower back is also, still injured. And when I say I broke my neck, I have I have the bulging and some pinched nerves and herniated, a whole bunch of things wrong with my vertebrae and my spine, and which limited my arm movement. So it was about 6 years, 6 years that 6 years in the military that I really had to think about my injuries, and I couldn't hide them any longer, so I couldn't do the operation. So I really thought about what could I do. And one of the soldiers came over to me, one of the great leaders, and said, "You need to think about getting out, because if you're not 100%, it would be rough to live with living with something bad that could happen, overseas, of me not being able to be 100%." So that kind of hit home. So I spent, to make a long story short about that, I waited for a wounded warrior battalion to open up, and I was transferred over here to Fort Knox, Kentucky. I'll step back a hair. I also went to South Korea, but South Korea, that was a whole different ballgame. Fluffy, you can go ahead and lay down. Give me 1 second. Fluffy, lay down all the way. I'm good, buddy. So I went to South Korea, and then I came to Fort Carson, because I had to wait for a Wounded Warrior Battalion to open up. And a Wounded Warrior Battalion is basically where wounded warriors, wounded military members go, and they learn to transition to go back into civilian life. Now, during that time, I spent 7 wonderful years in the military, and my transition was very, very difficult. And that's where I struggled severely. When I say I struggled severely mentally. A lot of us veterans, when we get out the military after so long, we don't know our purpose anymore, because in the military, our purpose is given to us. Our purpose is either to complete a mission or to take care of soldiers to complete a mission. But when you get out the military, you don't have any more soldiers and you don't have a mission. So what is it? Well, what do we do when we're like, we look out into the world and it's like, wow, there's all of this available? What do we do? Because again, what do we pick and choose? Before everything was given to us, it's like, what is there? And sometimes we get overwhelmed. So that was a little history of my military time and me spending 7 wonderful years. Unfortunately, I did get injured. I do suffer from both physical and mental disabilities, but that's not going to stop me, and it shouldn't stop you or anybody else from following their dreams.
Right, bro. You're a true hero, man. That's a very strong story. You must have went through so much pain, like with the neck injury, recovering. And I know you had to go through therapy, right? Physical therapy and stuff.
So during my transition, and it's still difficult to this day. I got out the military in 2014. I actually had my operation on my neck about roughly about 4 to 5 years after I got out. There was a long time that the military, they wanted to use they want to exhaust every resource that we had out there, to really know that the surgery was our last option. Knowing that the surgery was the last option, we wanted to redo all the other resources. So I did acupuncture, physical therapy, to, TENS units, to, neck extensions. I did all of these things because I literally couldn't feel my fingertips for years. And
Wow.
it was very hard on me mentally too, because I have 3 wonderful children. And if my son comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, dad, let's go ride a bicycle," unfortunately, I have to tell him no. If he says, "Hey, dad, or do you want to go play catch with me?" Unfortunately, for a long time, I had to tell him no. If there was a lot of things that had to do with my arms, I would have to tell my children no, because my arms didn't work properly. They were constantly going numb. So I couldn't go like this and throw a football. My arms are going numb and my neck couldn't move. So I exhausted every resource that the military, the veteran, the VA had to offer, the Veterans Hospital, Veterans Administration had to offer for me. And during all that, I thought extremely negative mentally. All of that was very hard. And I'm not going to use the S word. Um, when I say the S word, the one, that may be life ending, that starts with the letter S, because we all know that this may be triggers to some people or demonetized on some platform, stuff like that. But basically, I thought about, life ending every single day for me because I didn't understand how to get through my physical injuries and my pain on a day-to-day basis. And not just that, how do I go about living a normal life? How do I play with my children? I can't do a desk job. The doctors told me I literally cannot do a desk job for the rest of my life or hard labor because my arms are constantly going numb and their weakness. So what can I do? What can I do? And I thought long and hard about that for all of that time. And I finally was ready to give up one day. Right before my neck surgery, I looked right at the doctor and I said, "Hey, if you don't fix me even a tiny percent, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to leave here and say, thank you for doing the best you can, but it's my time to go." And he said, "No, Daniel, I'm going to do the best I can. And I promise you, I'm going to fix you 1%." So before that surgery, I couldn't move my neck, not even a half a centimeter, left, right, up, down. I couldn't move my arms. I couldn't feel my fingertips. It was just very difficult. I'll never forget, I woke up from the neck surgery and I woke up from the neck surgery. I looked right at the doctor and I said, "Doctor, I can feel my fingertips. Thank you. Thank you." And he looked right at me and he goes, "Well, it's not done yet." He goes, "Can you move a little bit?" And I go, I can move a little bit." He goes, "I promise you it's going to get better, but there is side effects. With anybody having any types of surgery or anything breaking in your body, you will never be 100%." And I understood that. But all I asked for him was that little grain, that little bit of hope. And he gave that to me. So when I woke up and I realized that, I said, it would be a disservice to not just him, but everybody else, everybody all around the world, and especially the soldiers who aren't here anymore, if I didn't continue to live my life. But what still can I do? And it bothered me. It bothered me a very long time. What could I do? And it was very shortly after that that a program that I applied for a service dog came into my life, and it was literally, I think it was about a month or two after my neck surgery, where I was still recovering. I got the phone call and said, "Hey, we have a dog for you." And I go, "Okay." And they go, "Well, we got a couple dogs for you, and we're not sure if they'll actually help you with your disabilities, and we're going to be in a trial program because you live so far away." And I go, "Okay, all right, tell me a little bit more." And they go, "I need you to drive 5 hours all the way up north to Chicago, Illinois, and see if one of these dogs links up with you and your personality and helps with your disabilities." So I drive up there, and I sit down in this office, and the first dog comes running out, right? The first dog comes running out. This dog was crazy. And when I say it was crazy, it was just way too hyper for my type of lifestyle, right? I wanted a dog that I could literally be able to turn on and off in a matter of an instant. And when I say it like that, literally, if I get one of his toys out right now and start, doing certain thing, he will literally start going, start having fun and start going, not crazy, but realize that, you know, having an extreme basic obedient dog, that's what I really wanted, right?
Yeah.
So the second dog comes out and I was like, I don't know. The next dog, before it comes out, they were like, "We're not sure if you'll like it." So I go, I'm not sure if I like it." And they go, "Yeah." And next thing you know, this big, huge ball of fluff comes running towards me. And I'm like, "Oh, hard no." It was a standard poodle. It was this guy. Okay. It was this guy, big old fluffy ball of poodle. And I'm like, "No, this is not a manly dog. This is not a dog like for my type of personality. I know nothing about poodles." And obviously with who I am, you see, I'm a big smiling bunch of goodness here. I uh, I had to test this dog, right? Fluffy, lay down. I had to test this dog, and he came over to me as soon as he came through the door, and I was like, no, no, no. He came over to me and sat by my side. He sat by my side
Mm,
and looked up at me, kind of what he's been doing now, and let me know that, hey, I'm your battle buddy again. I'm that soldier again who that is always by your side. I'm that I'm your man's best friend. But again, I had to test him. So I got up and I walked away, and he stood by my side. And ever since that day, uh, we're like two peas in a pod. But going back to like, is this dog manly or not? It was shortly a couple hours after, we were doing some training. I sat down, and that day I was wearing a hat. I sat down and I said, how can we make this dog a little manly? So I took off my hat and I literally put it on this dog's head. Okay. I put my hat at the time on this dog's head, and I Googled on the internet. I said, well, is there any dog hats? And I didn't find any dog hats. And then the next thing was like hair dye, and I was like, I wonder if there's dog hair dye. Good. Make a long story short on that, there's dog hair dye, so I literally only do it like he's wearing a hat to make him a little more manlier for me and have an army green.
okay, nice.
Yeah.
Um,
So
do they have specific colors for the hair dye for the dog?
if you follow us on social media, and I know you do, and the viewers out there, make sure you follow us. It's the Fluffy Poodle, those three words, the Fluffy Poodle on all social media platforms. That's YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, everything. It used to be blue. His hair used to be blue up top. Unfortunately, the company they switched their manufacturer who made the dog hair dye, and that blue kept turning purple, and I didn't like that. So we went the
Mm,
next best thing, which is green. And since I'm a motivational speaker and social media influencer, why not get it with being my military background? Why not we just keep it green from now on?
right. It looks good too.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, I like it. That and his little goatee right there. Oh, I'm not complaining.
Fire. And you said that's a standard poodle, right?
Yep, the standard poodle. So a lot of people don't know this, but standard poodles, okay? Standard poodles were bred to be duck hunting dogs and also protection dogs for the queens in Europe. And they've been used for World War II for, war dogs. They've also been used for therapy, service dogs, and so on. But the reason why you don't see that many of them is because of, to be honest, they're high end and they're high maintenance. When I say high maintenance, you literally I have to brush him every single day. Otherwise, he gets very matted. But there are three not levels. I can't think of the word right now. Brain fart. There are three sizes. There are three sizes of poodle. Standard is the biggest one, and then there's a mini, and then toy. Mini's a little bit smaller, and then the toy's like the little hand ones.
Right. I just me and my other half, we just recently got a, they call it a Moyen poodle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. So what's the other half of the what's the Moyam part?
So they say it's medium. So the mom's like a medium, and the dad was a standard.
Okay, so all right, now I understand. So that's nice, nice. A lot of people
Yeah.
also don't know this, but poodles are actually the second smartest dog in all of breeds. The first one is some
Mm.
small one, I don't know, but I think they're part human. I'm literally like, if I start seizuring or shaking, watch how fast this dog catches on. Watch how little, just watch my hands, watch how little they shake, and he'll just start going. I'm good,
Wow.
buddy. I'm good. And then I have to breathe in his mouth because he's also scent trained. I'm good. Lay down. So, say if I wasn't shaking for a seizure, he's also scent trained to pick up on that scent before the visual cues of me shaking.
Wow. That's crazy. That's incredible.
Oh yeah, I love it. I mean, this dog literally. I'm a college student as well, so if I'm writing at my desk at school or at home in my office, if I drop my pen, literally, Fluffy, pick up, pick up. Oh, something back there. All right, come here, pick up. He's like, I don't want to right now. He knows better. And so realistically, right now I do have him up on a tote, just for our platform while we're doing this. But I can show you as well before we get off here. I think it would be great, to end the video when the time comes to show you just a quick little training and some awesome things that this fluffy poodle can do. It's quite amazing.
Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, from your army story, the military,
Mhm.
your injuries, you went through a lot. You got a nice family, kids, you're still taking care of yourself. You just mentioned you're in college. So how do you balance? Because it seems like your balance is on point. Like
Well,
just put
here, balance is actually quite difficult. How do I explain this very smoothly? I don't think there is a way for me. My life is so chaotic when I say it like that. It's I have 3 kids. They all do sports. So my I consider 3 o'clock, like once the kids get home from school, once the first one gets home or we have to take to sports, I believe that's honestly when my day starts, because we don't get home and it's like run 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 run. But throughout the day, how do I find balance? Is honestly following your dreams, saying yes to absolutely everything and anything, and don't hesitate. It's okay to make mistakes. And I struggled with that for a very long time, is understanding that not every day is going to be perfect. Not every day you're gonna, gonna succeed. There's gonna be days that you're gonna fail. There's gonna be days that you're gonna be put into uncomfortable positions. But I promise you, when you get through them, you're gonna be stronger than what you were beforehand. Like for example, today I woke up and I'm not bringing politics or anything in whatsoever. And but today is a day to vote, and I went and I woke up extra early and I took all of my kids so they can see that process, and we did that. And then I came home and my son's like, hey, can you take me to my girlfriend's house? I'm like, huh? Like, we just got home. Okay, let's adjust. Let's take them over there because they still also have to learn about life and about girlfriends and just about the process. And that's one thing I've learned, is explaining things to not just my children and to others, through podcasts and through my story, but also breaking it down for people. Like, hey, there's some times where my son's gonna be like, hey, take me here. My daughter's gonna be like, oh, I need you to take me here because we need this for this project. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but okay, we're gonna adjust. That's all you can do. And each and every day, you have to make a plan and realize that even with a business, even with social media, whatever you are doing in life, you have to constantly adjust. And adjusting, I think, is very key. And knowing that it's okay to fail, and if you succeeded at nighttime, repeat it the next day. And if you didn't succeed, try a little bit harder the next day. That's the biggest thing, is just keep trying harder. You only live once, so let's live it to you only live life once, so let's live it to its fullest.
right. Good advice. Um, quick question. So say you wake up off day, you feel like foggy, you're like, damn, you know, what's like 2 or 3 things you do personally to get you out of that mode?
So number one is I love the nature. I love nature. When I say nature, it's sometimes just simply looking up at the stars. If you live in the city, I highly suggest maybe just one evening driving out the city, driving to a nice country area and look up. Get away from that light pollution. And when I say light pollution, it's basically in the city you can't see as many stars. So drive in the country, look up and just be amazed. Enjoy the simple wonders in life. And that's a lot of it. Is the biggest thing is I honestly have to be grateful for everything that I have, because growing up didn't have food in the refrigerator. My nickname growing up was Butter because that's all I had. And I would eat sticks of butter in the cabinets hiding, and my mom would catch me because literally that's all we had. So being grateful that I actually have food, be grateful that I have a dog next to me, I have clothes on, I have a blue painted wall behind me. You have to be grateful for all the things that you actually have because there's a lot of people in this world, a lot of people all over the world that really don't have much and would love to be in your situation.
Right. Got to keep that good mindset.
You have to, and yes, you're gonna have bad days, but whenever you have a bad day, acknowledge it. Just like your plan throughout the day, you have to acknowledge your plan, and you have to constantly adjust. And if you're not adjusting, I think that's actually called like stupidity or something, repeating the same thing over and over again. But I don't like calling it that, or insanity or stupidity. I like calling it better things like, hey, all we have to do is just adjust. All you have to do is adjust. And it sometimes it's easier said than done, but looking around and be like, man, I'm thankful that I have a pen right in front of me to write with. I have a green-haired dog. It's all these little things in life. You really truly have to be grateful for, and that's why we also share our story on social media. When I first got him, we only did it for accountability purposes on social media. We've been on YouTube for 5 years and all social media platforms for about that long. And for a long time, I didn't take it serious. But this past year, when I started my own company, Motivate, or we motivate everybody by motivational speeches, keynote, and social media influencing, um, we understand the purpose of telling our story and also breaking things down a little more seriously. And that's what we did this whole year, is breaking it down and showing everybody that, hey, it's okay to struggle and it's okay to um, go through things, but ultimately know that you're not alone. And that's what we really preach, is that everybody in the whole world struggles. Most people hide it better than others. So if you need anything and everything, just all you have to do is reach out. And it's okay that maybe you don't want to talk about things, because not everybody wants to talk about what they've been through, and not everybody has that voice yet. When I say yet, some people want to have a voice and tell what they've been through, but they don't know how to translate it yet. So in the meantime, there's people like me, people like the Fluffy Poodle, who are really the inspiration for the disability, the military, and a lot of the community who's been through some rough things like I have.
Right. Real legendary story. You're a legend, bro. You even have your own business, social media, a lot.
It's very humbling, very humbling. I tell a lot of people, because we do, even in our community, we get asked for pictures and autographs, daily. We go to the local store and they're like, "Hey, come, we get a picture," and I'll never say no to anybody whatsoever. But I want you to know that I'm no hero. I'm no different from you. I'm no different from anybody else who's watching this. I just know that it took me a very long time to be able to use my voice, and now that's what I'm really good at, is to use my voice to tell my story, to inspire everybody to follow their dreams. Because if I can get through my challenges and my disabilities and my struggles, I know that you can, and everybody watching can as well.
Right. And the conversation we had a couple days ago to set up the interview, when you told me about your neck injury, I'm like, man, I can't complain at all.
So
I gotta.
I'm gonna tell you the story real quick. All right, Fluffy, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. So when I was going through the Wounded Warrior Battalion, good. When I was going through the Wounded Warrior Battalion at Fort Knox, I was in an adaptive sports program, because at the beginning I told you I can't ride a bicycle because I can't look up. So it was very dangerous as long as my arms would constantly go numb. So a regular bicycle in that position, it was very difficult. So I would ride a recumbent. A recumbent bicycle is where you lay back and it has three wheels and you steer like on the side. It's interesting. But I started training for a very long time, and we would start riding long bicycle rides. I'm talking like 500 miles on a bicycle from Boston to Philly, Chicago to
Oh,
Detroit,
damn.
Cincinnati to Nashville, DC to Virginia Beach. These are all the rides that I have done on a bicycle, And there was this guy named Jose. I'll never forget Jose. Jose, he only has one leg. He had his leg ran over by an aircraft on an aircraft carrier, and he only has one
Sheesh.
leg, right? So he would ride a hand cycle, okay? Like a bicycle that you have to like go like this. And I would look at him and like, well, I got to keep going. I got to keep going.
Right.
And he would look at me like, all right, I got to keep going. And so realistically, it's like he was my inspiration and I was his inspiration. And after his first ride and my first ride, which we didn't know it was our both first ride, I was like, thank you, Jose. You really pushed, you helped me push through. And he was like, man, I thought you were a hero because, make a long story short, we were both our inspiration. And sometimes that's what it takes. A little bit of, I look at my injuries sometimes and I refuse to take any more medication. The VA, a lot of people know that they treat veterans very well because it's free help, but they also give out a lot of medication. And at one time, I was on so much that I was like a zombie. I didn't want to do that. So how I deal with some of my pain sometimes is realizing that there's people out there who's going through something worse. And when I say it like that, there's people out there right now who's maybe fighting a war or maybe don't have access to pain going through surgery, or anesthesia, and all of these things. There are scenarios like that all around the world. So my pain, yeah, it's rough. It hurts me on a day-to-day basis. And sometimes I cry. Sometimes I literally cannot get out of bed. But that's not going to stop me. It's not going to stop me or anybody else. So sometimes you need to think about things like that to help push you through. It's kind of like mind over matter. But is it mind over matter, or is it more of like finding your inspiration, finding your motive to get to your fate? And that's why I named my company like that, because ultimately, when you kind of say that really fast, it's to find your motivation. Find what's your motive to get to your fate where you want to go, and what's your motivation to keep going. And for me, it's hearing that number one, I'm not alone, because a lot of not just men, but a lot of people all around the world, they think that what they're going through is, they're by themselves. But realistically, everybody has marriage problems, everybody has money problems, everybody has some thoughts of some sort or another that maybe they should probably talk about. And I want everybody to know that it's okay. There's people like me who would love to listen to you, love to talk to you, and love to just be around you and inspire you and help get you to where you want to be, because in the military they always said, leave it better than what you were left it. So that's all I'm trying to do each and every day, is leave the world better than what I was left it.
Say that one more time. Leave it better.
Leave the world better than what you were left it.
Okay. I like that saying. That's a nice one.
Yeah. So it's just like anything, like when you go somewhere, right? Or when you work with somebody or anything, you show up and you have a standard. And you always want to improve the standard because you always want stuff to be better than what it was yesterday. So that's all you're trying to do, even with yourself, is trying to be better than what you were yesterday. Trying to make your house, your home, your lifestyle, your brain mindset, just about anything, just make it better than what it was yesterday. And I truly believe if we take care of our community takes care of us. And going back to the military and us veterans trying to find our purpose and us not having soldiers anymore. Well, our soldiers now is taking care of our community. And for me, that's to tell my voice and use my voice to inspire and get the support that everybody needs.
Definitely, bro. Super fire, man. And
Hell yeah.
how old are you?
So I'm 37 years old. I'm still really young. I look at age as not a number, but more of how much life we have. Um, at 37 years old, that's only like a quarter of your life done, And when you look at it like that, even at somebody 50, and they're like, "Well, my life, I'm too old to do this or that." No, you're not. Look at how it took you 50 years to get that old. and get that wise and get that smart and get that everything, you still have 50 more beautiful years to live your life. So just like me, nobody knows how long we're going to live, but I know one thing for a fact, and that is literally I'm here for a short amount of time. And nobody at all is going to remember the stuff that I had, but people are going to remember what I've done and the legacy that I've left. And I'm going to improve it each and every day the best I can.
Right. It's gonna happen, bro. It
Mhm.
will happen. And I like your merch. Where can we purchase it at?
So we're actually we're still working on the back end, a little bit on that. We have it all printed, we have it all ready. I have it all on the shelves right here, getting ready to package as well. The only downside is right now we're working on the website. So we're working on the website, but it's going to be up very very soon. So everybody stay tuned for that. It'll be on our YouTube channel as well on Instagram, TikTok, and all the social media platforms where you can buy Motivate, where we help one because helping one is better than helping none. And when I say that we help one at a time. Now, that's one at a time, look, if that's one big giant group, one big giant crowd, one company, one individual, whatever it is, I only can help one at a time. But let's all work together and add value to your life and your company. But before we roll though, we got to show them something. You want to go out there and show them real quick? Yeah. All right, we're gonna
Yeah.
take you guys real quick. We're gonna take you right on out to my living room, and we're gonna have a little bit of fun with the fluffy poodle. Okay. Turn the light.
Mini
Right there.
poodle show.
All right, I think this is about good right here.
Perfect.
Outstanding, outstanding. Fluffy heel. So obviously a heel is just sitting right next to me. Down, sit down. Got to have some dog push-ups. But like I said a second ago, sometimes, I may have a pencil or a key or something like this, right? I may have a pencil or a key, and sometimes that drops down, and I need the fluffy poodle to pick it up and bring it to me. Fluffy, pick up, come, good. And I have my key right there. But can this dog do my laundry, do my dishes, and all of that? He absolutely can. Let me show you, okay? It's literally just like this, right? Again, just like the key, I can take my shoe or my shirt or anything around my house and just say like I'm sitting down and my back is really hurting and I can't bend over, my arms aren't working properly. I literally tell the fluffy poodle right here his name and then whatever I want him to get. Fluffy shoe. He'll pick it up in a nice controlled manner, bring it right to me. Now, there is literally no bite marks, no slobber marks, no nothing whatsoever on that shoe. So I can put it on. That's what's really awesome. So he knows how to retrieve absolutely anything and everything because, again, my arms don't work properly. But also going to the mental, right? Going to the mental, sometimes us veterans, we feel uncomfortable when we're out in different types of environments. So, how do we improve this a little bit? Is we put our dog in the what I call the sixth position. Okay, it's kind of like watching our back. Fluffy six, and he literally is watching my back. So if anybody comes around me or anything like that, he'll actually break and make a barrier between me and them because a lot of us veterans we don't our head is like on a swivel all the time. So
Yeah.
this is how we eliminate it as well. Fluffy heel. But let's just say I'm walking in a big crowd or in an area, right? That I still may feel a little uncomfortable, and that sixth position isn't enough. Then I literally tell this dog, circle, or some people call it orbit. Fluffy, circle. And he literally keeps my bubble all the way around me. So nobody can come in here. Fluffy, circle. Nobody can come in whatsoever. Sit. And that's what's awesome about this dog. Hug is how amazing this standard poodle is. Fluffy, come
Nice.
on, buddy. Oh, we love it. We love it. We love it.
Love it. Love it.
So with that
Yeah.
being said, I've really had an amazing time on here, and I want to say thank you for everything that you're doing, and really allowing people like me to be a voice on your show, the Rome Show. I can't say thank you enough. Everybody, I've been listening to the Rome Show, so make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you're following home as well. Okay, make sure you guys are. This is a great man, and I highly recommend that you listen to some other episodes as well.
Thank you, Dan. I really appreciate it. It's a fire episode. I'll be promoting this one like crazy.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Seriously, if you need anything or anybody else, please reach out to Moda Fate on Facebook, or reach out to me on the Fluffy Poodles channel on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, X, on absolutely everything. The Fluffy Poodle, those three words.
Absolutely. If you need training tips, go watch his channel.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate it, Mr. Rome. Thank you a lot.
Thank you, Dan. Really appreciate it. You have a good one.
Hey, thank you.